Hey guys, I'm Ashif Ali and watching CGHOW video. Today we created this toxic pool effect in Unreal Engine Niagara. So let's start this tutorial. So let's start this. So I have this toxic pool folder and first I will create a new level. Can take any, and if you have a cool scene where you have a like a hole in the ground, that's better. If you don't have, you can just make a quick mesh or just put some meshes. So if I just let me just search. So I have this scene now. Let me make the lighting little darker. Okay, cool. This G fighting we can just solve it, and then I'll just save it. I'll call it cool. Okay. So now I have to add something here. First, we will add a decal on it. So let's make a decal. So I'll go to the my folder toxic pool. In that folder, I will just create a new material and toxic. What I'll do first, let's just take a radial and just take the three vector, make this parameter, call it color, and default color I will put green around here. You can change it later, and this will go to here. I'll make this from surface to deferred decal, and instead of this translucent, and same color will go here. And for the opacity, I'll just connect this. So for now, I'll just use this, and for the specular, I'll make the parameter, and we will change it later. Okay, and also this. So that's it. I'll just save it. Now I will right click and make an instance of this. Okay, and if I drag my instance here, you can see how it's working. So we can just drag it around here. Okay, and I'll open the material again, and here I'll make some parameters, like I'll multiply it and make a parameter called opacity, so I can increase or decrease it. Okay, and yeah, let's save it again. Now in the instance, uh, that should be default should be 1, and we can increase it, and we can make it a little darker like this, and we can increase the specular, and a bit we can play with metallic if you want. So we have now this cool, cool, right? Now what we have to change first is first we have to change the round shape. We want to make it little uneven shape. So for that, let me just, although you can also scale it, your decal like this, little bit. I will scale it down like this. Yeah. And you can also duplicate your decal like 2 times if you want. But I will just make it one like this. Cool. So now what I'll do, I'll go here and take a texture, and I'll take the blur noise, or you can just, what you can do, just take a noise node. If I preview this, and this is the shortcut to preview, and on the planar, the size. So I'll take the world position, multiply, and this will be noise type. And I'll just connect this, maybe 0.0, let it be 1 for now. and 0.01. Then what we can do, we can use this noise and we can reduce this 0 to 1. Then we can use Voronoi. You can use any value. It's not necessary you use the same value. Like this. And you can distort the radius of this. So what I'll do, the radius by default is zero point 0.5. Let me saturate it first and use a Lerp. So Lerp is giving, depending on the black and white, 0 to 1, but default value of the radius is zero point 0.5, so I'll make it 0.5 and connect. Then we can make parameter radius, radius min, and duplicate this, radius max, max. Both I will put zero point 0.5 for now, so we can do that in instance. So this is we are doing for now. So texture coordinate here. So now I'll just save it. Now come to the instance and let me also save all. So now in the instance, if I turn this on, so we have minimum, maximum. So I'll just make this minimum little more minimum. So now you can see what's happening. And this is a tile of noise that we can use, like this much or maybe this much. I think this much is enough. Okay. Now we can just scale this like this and move this here. So now it's covering almost all part. We actually need it like this much, and we can put something in here. So this is how it looks. Now we need something more like a normal or something. So let me just search a texture I have. I have a water normal. Yeah, this one. This one. This one is actually a normal map. So I will use this, and here I will just press T, and we need to use it here. So first I'll take the flatten normal and use this just to control the flatness of the normal if we want to increase or decrease. Then tiling of normal, so texture coordinate multiply, and I'll take tile normal default value 1 set. We can add animation and lots of things, but for now let's save it. So now in the instance, where's my instance? In this one, yeah, this one here. So we can now, the tiling of normal is 1, so we can increase this, and we can increase the tiling, maybe this much or this much. Now you can see it looks something like toxic thing, but this whole thing is like same color. So what you can do, you can use this noise, and we have this color. So I'll just call it color 1, and then we can use a Lerp. You can use this noise, which we are using for distortion of radial, and I'll just put this here, and this is color 1, duplicate, and this will be color 2. And depending on the noise, we can have two colors. So I'll just save and show you how it will change. So by default, both colors look same. So what I'll do, I'll make this one little more greenish, and maybe darker. Now you can see this thing. We have some lightness here. If I make this more darker, now you can see. Can you see that? Yeah. And we can also animate this whole thing if you want. So one more thing I'll do, I'll quickly, let me save actually. I'll add a planar here, it up, scale it up, And this will be actually, this is a pool actually, so we have to make this like a pool around here. Okay. And we will make a separate material for this, or you can just duplicate this material and change the color if you want. So let's say if you just duplicate the instance, we have this instance one, and I apply this instance. Actually, this is for decal, so it will not work like that. So what I'll do, I'll duplicate this thing, toxic. I'll call it M pool, and I'll just open this. And what I'll change, just make it surface and make it, yeah, go here and just turn this on. So all the features will be enabled and just save. Now I will right click on the pool, make an instance, and on this planar, I will apply this and open this instance material. First thing, I'll go down. I think this is not two-sided material, so let me make this two-sided. Why it's not visible? Oh, default opacity is 0. And color, I will just make these black. This one also black. And opacity I can increase. And then we have these settings. Roughness will be 0. We can increase this. Diagonal of normal we can increase. It should be like kind of water. I'll increase this normal, this much. And we can add color a little bit, maybe little blue. And maybe little green. Mix of that. Yeah, this looks like toxic. So now we have this thing till now. Now what we can do, we can add some toxic particles inside it. So I'll just make this quickly. So what I'll do, I'll just open a Niagara, this, open this, and I'll make minimal emitter, make this local, take a spawn rate, maybe just 50, and I'll take the location, and in the location I'll use planar, maybe 500, 500, I don't know how big is that. Okay, and then we need to align it on the z-axis, so I'll go here, velocity, custom alignment, custom facing vector, and then here align to mesh orientation. Instead of x, take z and fix this. It will create this module there, and this should be green, of course. So I'll go here, make this green, maybe just pure green, and we have some variation although here, and we can also go with the saturation variation with 2 and 0.5, and also with this. And this is, I'll take the sign, not sign, size, and make this like this. And we need initial size also, 50. Looks cool. So we can add it to the surface here. Little bit. Yeah, cool. It just, these are too big, so I'll just make it 10 and 1. And there should be some warm-up time, and maybe 100 for now, and 15. Looks cool, right? And ultimately, you can also add some panel, so it will, this looks little more bright. So I'll just use a translucent material. Let me take a radial trans. It's a radial, but it's translucent material, so we can make it darker. So it can go like this, still very bright. Let me make it darker. Yeah, now it's fine. Cool. And what else we can do here? Uh, we can add some animation here. So I'll open the toxic, and we have this, so we can just add time, but I will multiply time with a 3 vector, convert it to parameter time. And because we need 3 vectors, so I'll just use this, and then I will add it here. By default, we want to animate it on an axis. We can do that later. We can also add some panel here, and we can take a pen or just take one and just connect it here. It will be diagonal, but you can make separate. I'm just giving you an idea. So I'll just save it. And now you can see by default, but if I open this, so there is time, and what parameter I added for the normal? Oh, it should be a parameter. Normal panel. So the normal panel is by default 0.2, which I'll make 0.05 or maybe 0.02. And then we have this time, so we can animate it like 5, 7, like this. And if you want, you can add some smoky kind of thing if you want. So let's say if I create one more emitter, and I'll call it NS smoke, toxic smoke actually, and I'll take this and let me open a smoke material. I have lots of smoke material, but I'll choose, let me just find from here, smoke material. So like this, let me show you the material tab. So it has noise texture and noise is panning. Not panning actually. Noise is multiplying with the texture this radial, and it's, so this is basically noise and this is radial, and when I'm multiplying both, so I have this with a deferred. So it's quite simple. So I'll just use this and this one, and now I'll take the spawn rate 50 and dynamic parameter for the tile, make this one, and I'll take the shape location, maybe slender, maybe 20 is enough, and velocity, and then I'll add wind, and like this, not that much, maybe just 50, and life I'll just make 1 and 0.5, and of course the color will be green, and we can randomize these things, not this but rest of the things. And if I increase this, you can see it start looking like a, it's eroding. So I'll just make this tile random, maybe 0.5 and 1, and this should be rod at the end. So I'll just use this curve. So it will go from 1 to 5 maybe. So it's eroding and like maybe 1 and 2. And also we can pick the scale color that should fade out like this. And I'll just make this local and we will have to put it in the report so we can see how it looks. So basically it's short and it's actually too much green. So I'll make this maybe red. Actually 50, but the line over 3. I'll make some this and wing maybe 50 and the upward 20, 30. Yeah, now it's better. We can now add this and still visible too much. So alpha maybe 0.2 and 0.1. Very certain like this. We can duplicate it like multiple times like this. And here are seen ready a pool of toxic. I hope you like this. Thanks for watching. Keep learning and bye bye.